Hi everybody, welcome to you. Welcome to you international AI startups and business advisors as well. We will start soon, but let me introduce the webinar because you are all in one way or another involved in the race of artificial intelligence. It means that you know how much AI needs money, and maybe that's why you are here. The Paris Region AI Challenge is for you and for your network. The Paris Region AI Challenge is launched since last month, and we are here today to listen to speakers that will tell why it is happening here in the Paris region and what is offered in the challenge. But also you will listen to tips and tricks on how to succeed. So welcome, and here is the panel of speakers. First, Samy. Samy will speak for the official supporter of the challenge. He represents the Paris Region Council. Second, Virginie, who works at the EY France. EY will brings its project management and engineering expertise to the challenge. She will explain how she'll ensure the perfect execution of the different challenge steps. Third, it will be Yvan-Michel. Yvan-Michel from Paris Region Venture Fund will speak as one of the two investors and organizers of the challenge. And last but not the least, Nicolas is your guide to the Paris Region AI ecosystem. He works like me, Thomas, and happy to make the facilitation. So we are Paris Region Entreprise is the regional agency in charge of attractivity. As an agenda today, you will see that this webinar is supposed to bring you all the basic information you need to apply to our super challenge. So it's quite simple. It will explain the origin of the challenge. Then you will have a quick view of the process. Then you will have the participation of the Paris Region Venture Funds that will show the challenge through the eye of an investor. And then Nicolas will present the assets of the Paris region, especially from the AI ecosystem. Let's start with the presentation of Samy Jousset of the Paris Region Council.
Hi, hello. Yes,
yes.
It is a pleasure to introduce the challenge. As you all know, or may not know, it originated at the CES Las Vegas, where our President Valérie Pécresse announced measures in favor of attractivity. So the basic idea was that there was a recent setups of very big AI companies, namely Facebook, Google, also DeepMind, Samsung, that were setting up in the Paris region. And it was the will of our president to set up an ecosystem that was friendly also to startups and give them the opportunity to be welcome in the Paris region. So that will be the basic idea, and the AI challenge is one step in favor of startups at an early stage in order for them to set up in the Paris region and benefit from our rich ecosystem. So maybe I shall present very briefly what the challenge is about. So briefly, there are two investors, namely the investment branch of the CEA, and the Paris Region Venture Fund, which is our tool in order to invest in early stage startups. So both these funds are centered on early stage, and for the winners of the startups, for the winners of the challenge, there will be 700,000 euros in funding for the first prize, and the second and third prize will both receive 150,000 euros. So that's for the 3 first startups that will be elected through this challenge. But there is also a prize for the 10 shortlisted candidates, and it is a high-level 3-month mentorship program and a global market access through the partners of the challenge. So namely, we will have EY, which will be presented by Virginie later on, but also very big international companies that are in the Paris region and partners of this challenge, namely Atos and Dassault Systèmes. For international startups wanting to set up in the Paris region, we also have in mind that one of the big aspects will be how to set up in a legal way. So we also have a lawyer firm, namely Ehkirch, which is international and has and is used to answer the questions of startup wanting to set up in a foreign country. So that will be a brief scope of what the challenge has to offer to participants. So in order to elect the 10 shortlisted candidates and then the 3 final winners, we formed a jury that is a combination of a deep AI expertise and also business expertise. So this jury will be chaired by Bertrand Braunschweig, which is the director of the INRIA Paris-Saclay, which is one of the leading research centers in France and in the world for artificial intelligence. So this jury is composed of 15 people, which are, can be divided into 3 main groups. The first one will be a group of people with deep technical expertise of the field of AI. For example, we have Luc Julia, which is the co-inventor of Siri, and now the head of the innovation lab of Samsung here in the Paris region. Also Aline Nazarenko, Isabelle Bloch, Raja Shatila, or Bertrand Braunschweig. The second group will be constituted of the organizers of the challenge, 2 people for the investment branch of the CEA, and 2 people for the Paris Region Venture Funds, and 2 people, of course, for the Paris region. Then the third group and final group will be the industrial sponsors. So we have EY that is represented, as well as Atos, Dassault Systèmes, and Empruntis. So that will be it for the introduction on the origin of the challenge. Thank you.
Thank you, Samy, for this introduction, yes, of the origin of this challenge. Now it's time to let Virginie present also the process of this challenge. Hi, Virginie, thank you.
Hi, hello everyone. Thank you, Samy, for your presentation of the challenge. I'll start by giving you more insight with a quick overview of our key milestones. So you have 1 more month to apply to our challenge, as the registration will be closed by June 17th. Then the selection of participants. After that, the jury will assess the application until the beginning of July. The mentoring phase will cover July to 18th, place in September, and the closing ceremony with the announcement of the winning startup will take place in October. let's discuss the mentoring phase now on, because it's really something that differentiates us from the other challenges. Our mentoring program is 3 months long. We have experts from the industry perspective, the technology perspective, business consulting, venture capital. So we have a whole bunch of experts to guide the startups for the 3-month mentoring program. We have 2 phases basically in our mentoring program. So in phase 1, the startups will be paired by the organizing team to improve some point the organizing team would have identified earlier. And in the second phase, the startups will be able to choose who they want to work with for 1 month of the mentoring phase within our pool of experts on the challenge. Then to give you more insight on the 5 criteria the jury will be using to assess the startups. The first criteria jury will look at is the maturity of the project, with the necessity of at least having a pilot or prototype of a new product or new service, and the necessity of having a business plan in particular that is setting out the perspective for the profitability of the new product over a period of less than 5 years. The second point is innovative breakthrough and differentiating nature of the solution. The aim of this criteria is to assess how innovative the solution the startup offer is, whether they use new IA technology or build new cases for IA that address critical issues. The third point is progress for the community brought by the solution. We included this criteria because the objective is to reward startups whose IA solution have a positive social impact, going from improved disease prediction, for instance, to improved mobility or education for all. So all those kind of solutions will be assessed and rated with this criteria. And the fourth criteria is the relevance and soundness of the business model. For this criteria, the jury will particularly look at 4 units: market. So its market capacity, is the startup able to create value for its market? Then offer, customer acquisition and retention, then business, the development and overhead like hiring, international business development, and then potential revenue for 2020, expected revenue. The last phase will be the assessment of the team. So we will check whether the team is ambitious, has technical and commercial acumen, their capacity to understand the market, and their faculty to work together. So that's basically our 5 criteria and how the jury in detail will be able to assess the startup that apply to our challenge.
Thank you, Virginie. It's perfectly clear as far as I'm concerned. And we welcome now Yvan-Michel Ehkirch from the Paris Region Venture Funds.
Welcome. Thank you to invite us. In fact, the Paris Region Venture Fund is managed by CapDecisif management with a venture capital firm located in Paris. We have been founded in early 2000, in 2001 exactly. We are a senior team of partners. We manage 5 funds since the beginning. We have invested in more than 80 companies right now. in mainly 3 domains. The healthcare, from the medtech up to biotech, the digital sector, and the deep tech sectors. So 3 sectors: medtech, healthcare, digital, and deep tech. We have got very well-known companies. If I'm talking about healthcare, for example, we were the first investor of Nanobiotics, DBV Technologies, Eritech Pharma, and recently Gecko Medical. So this is for the track record of the company. We are an early stage and a seed investor. We are doing seed, round A, and round Bs, not after. But we are staying in the company as long as the company needs us. So one of our fund is the Paris Region Venture Fund. So the Paris Region Venture Fund is one of the sponsors of the current challenge. The Paris Region Venture Fund was born in 2011, and the Paris region is the unique LP of that fund. The fund is managed by us, CapDecisif Management, and the fund is the 50 million euro co-investment vehicle. It means that the fund is investing what we call pari passu, in the same conditions with other partners like other VCs, platforms, or business angels. We have done so far 31 deals in the 3 main domains I have talked about. And among the companies we already funded, there is some leaders right now, like Navia. Navia is a small global company who launched the first commercial shuttle and autonomous shuttle and taxi autonomous vehicle. Linkfluence is one leader in the data management for marketing. Web Geoservice is a localization leader in Europe. This is the main Google Maps partner in Europe. You have some of the names here, like 7X, with launching a new remote control, disruptive remote control for the IoT market. So the Paris Region Venture Fund will be a co-sponsor for that challenge with the CEA, the research environment here in France, and we will participate directly into the price, the 3 prices, the 700K prices and the 2 150K prices for the challenge.
Thank you, Yvan-Michel. It's clear, and we can see how much Paris Region Venture Fund plays a role in the attractivity of the region through this co-investment vehicle. Thank you. Now it's time for you to hear Nicolas from Paris Region Entreprises. He will speak about the different assets of the Paris region. Thank you, Nicolas. Can you speak, please?
Yes, hi, this is Nicolas. Hello, everyone. So I wanted to remind you that this international AI challenge is taking place in a very strong AI dynamic that we're having in France and Paris in particular. In fact, France has a long tradition in mathematical research. And last year, the French state launched the France is AI initiative, to make sure how strong was the potential of research on AI in France, and they discovered that hundreds of research labs and companies were having their AI lab in France, and the 2/3 of that are based in Paris, and it led to a new strategy that was launched this year called AI for Humanity, which is a 1.5 billion euro investment plan on artificial intelligence for the next 5 years. It will ease cooperation between research public labs and companies. So, in fact, the research in Paris is the strongest in Europe, and it is we have an investment of a yearly investment of 19 billion euros in Europe, which is far more than the second competitor, which is Stuttgart in Germany. This research is mainly led by the private sector, but still the 2/3 of this investment is led by the private sector, but 1/3 is from the public sector, including close to 20 labs working on AI, such as École Normale Supérieure, the CEA, or INRIE. We saw then a strong dynamic, a strong international dynamic of opening of new AI research labs in the Paris region. Maybe if you can go to the next slide, please. We have lots of international companies, starting with Facebook, that opened their AI research lab in Paris 3 years ago already, followed by Fujitsu, Microsoft, and IBM, and the latest was in February with Philips that opened a research lab dedicated to healthcare. So we, as Paris Region Entreprises, we help such international companies to set up their business in Paris, and we help them to link with the whole ecosystem, such as large corporations or research public labs, and we organize B2B meetings and lab meetings also. We help with all the process, because we understand that for international companies it might be sometimes kind of hard to figure out how to set up their business here, but we truly help them. We truly facilitate to find an office, including just a seat in a co-working space to begin with, to get the right visa, and we really make it very easy for international companies. So if you have any question on this aspect, I'll be your guy. Thank you.
Thank you, Nicolas. That's exactly the purpose of this presentation. You have many services, many opportunities offered here and open to you by the AI challenge. But what are your specific doubts and questions, please? Nicolas, who can help a startup to simulate the cost of landing in the Paris region?
Yes, we admit that for international companies coming to a massive city like the Paris region can be kind of frightening, but we have all the tools to explain all the costs, including to begin with all the salaries, all the taxation system, and the real estate. We also help and benchmark all the real estate areas in Paris, so you can make a decision and see that it's if you're not located on the Champs-Élysées, it's not necessarily more expensive than being in the Line. And then we really facilitate all the relocation process. Also, we help to find a good flat, and so we're really looking into all those aspects of the financial issue of investing in Paris.
Okay, thank you, Nicolas. I have another question concerning the application process. It's maybe for Virginie. Do I have to complete all the questions and click the save button, submit button, sorry, or can I do it as when I want and in different steps?
Sure. So our recommendation is to fill in the maximum information you can. You can save your application as a draft on the platform and get back to the platform to fill in whenever you want by the deadline. However, if there is some question you cannot answer, you can just fill the blank with non-applicable, and then you will be able to submit your application anyways.
Okay, thank you. So you are invited to draft your application as for now and until the 17th of June. So yes, thank you, Virginie. Maybe a question also for Paris Region Venture Fund. It's about do the prices convertible notes have valuation cap or discount or interest and maturity date? It's quite technical, but another point maybe, Samy. Is remote mentoring possible?
So remote mentoring is, of course, an option for foreign startups that cannot make the travel in the Paris region for the weekly sessions of mentoring. So there will be a possibility for them to set up conference calls or video calls with the mentors in order to complete their mentoring.
Quite clear. It's open, and we are flexible in the way we will manage the mentoring. Thank you. Here is a new one. I have a question about the structure of the challenge. If I'm right, the structure of the first part of the selection process is online, right? The second one will be offline. It's a question for Virginie.
About the deadline you meant, can you repeat, please?
It's more a question about the difference between the first selection process, which will be online, and the second one, which will be offline. How will the jury proceed?
We will be using the same criteria. So online, we will check the criteria of eligibility, and then the jury will rate the startups. 10 startups will be shortlisted for the mentoring phase, and then they will be assessed on the very same 5 criteria during their pitch, their final pitch.
So it's a progressive selection, and it's always done by the jury based on the online application first, and on the meetings they will have with the 10 selected in the second time. Is it right?
Yes, exactly.
So perfect, thank you. We have a quite interesting question also about the. It's maybe for Samy. What are you asking back to companies that will receive prizes from the challenge? Equity, fees. It's maybe simple, but Samy, can you see what you expect from companies that will receive prizes? In fact,
I think this question will be more appropriate for the investor, but since he's not here, I will try to answer. What we expect from the companies, since it is an investment in capital organized through convertible bonds, the investors expect, of course, equity in the company. So what we should mention is that the issuing of the convertible bonds by the companies will not be a way to evaluate the company at the point of issuing, but instead the company has 24 months, so 2 years, in order to complete a raise of money, and only at the point where they raise money will it be possible for them to evaluate their company. So it's a way, the prize is a way to enter the capital of the company, but not a way to give it a specific value. I hope that makes sense. I'm by no means an expert in financial questions.
Okay, clear. Thank you. This really answer the question. So now it's perfect. It's time for me now to, if there are no more questions, to insist on the fact that you can apply now. You can draft your application as when you want on the aichallenge.parisregion.eu website, and until midnight, or just before midnight, the 17th of June. There are other questions coming, which are about the project maturity of the different candidates. Is it possible for you to answer? Please, it's a question more for Virginie. Please, is it for about project maturity? Is a beta version appropriate? And the second question just behind is the challenge blockchain friendly? But first, yes, maturity, beta version, can we apply?
Yeah, so on the question of maturity, of course you can apply if you have a beta version. Our jury will assess the maturity of the project, will go through your beta version and also your business plan to see whether you match our criteria or not. And it could be a good way, for example, in the mentoring phase, to work on the pilot, for example. So you can totally apply if you have a better version. Yeah, you can apply on the platform.
Is it welcome for blockchain projects?
Yeah. With that are using blockchain, are welcome as long as they match the eligibility criteria, and as long as they're using artificial intelligence in their solution and bring progress for the community. But yeah, as long as the solution use IA, you can apply.
Excellent. I think it's clear, but don't be too surprised by what is progress for the community. You have to describe your project and in the process before the submission, you can have tips from EY, from the person behind the application process to make it clearer. Maybe you don't know how to say why your project makes a progress for the community, or you don't know how to say it. It will be done during the application process. Thank you. I think the questions are over now. It's also time for me to invite you to share the news about the AI challenge on Twitter and LinkedIn, for example. It's important for the whole AI community to listen about this important opportunity. So, thank you to everybody for listening to this webinar. I remind that it was this Paris Region AI Challenge is sponsored and organized by the following different organizations: the Paris Region Council, the Paris Region Venture Fund, CIA Investment, and also we thank our different sponsors and companies who will supply mentors. Thank you, everybody, and we will send the presentation after. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, and we are waiting for your applications.